Call this meeting of the Charter Review Committee to order. Rich Smith is on duty, not able to make it tonight. I did talk to him earlier. He has a couple notes I'll share as we move through this. So just kind of where things stand. Town Council has reviewed and provided some notes. Town Moderator has reviewed and provided some notes. And then we actually have to add one that we've neglected to add at the very end that we'll discuss. So if it's okay, what I'd like to do is just kind of move through these as presented in this packet. We have guests and visitors. And what I'd like to do, if it's okay, or at least try to do to start off with, is that if people have questions as we go, just take them as they come, instead of having to wait until the end. If we get bogged down in certain areas, then we'll just try to have to move on.
It's a collaborative effort.
Yeah. And then what I'd also like to do is, after each one, just officially take a vote on whether to recommend or not.
I like that, okay.
All right? So these are all sorted basically A, B, C, D through E. And like I said, at the end, we'll add one. And go from there. All right, so we'll start with A, which is required annual training. Need to pull up the charter, sorry, I don't have it up.
Yeah, I mean, the comments of it just being, specific to just how it looks in the charter, but I think we've agreed everything within it, works.
Yeah, so the note is just a numbering question, pulling it up now. And appears to me the numbering suggestions are correct.
Okay.
Those okay to everybody? Any questions about the suggestions?
No.
All right, so I will entertain a motion for the Charter Review Committee to formally recommend, Amendment A
So moved.
as changed. All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Unanimous. B. This is about essentially making open meeting law as a minimum standard for boards and committees as they do their work. A couple of changes regarding just adding term open to before meetings.
It's reasonable.
And clarifying the vote if a committee decides it does not want to have its meetings recorded electronically.
Yeah, that's just changing it from supermajority to using the multi-member board language, right?
Right, in the affirmative. Yeah, it's just less legalese almost, yeah.
Okay.
Right, and then the next is just the cost, which is, yep.
So I will entertain a motion for a positive recommendation for Amendment B.
Second?
I just want to make the.
Oh, sorry.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's 4-0. Amendment C. The first change is guidance changing from the Commonwealth to the State Attorney General. My only hesitation is sometimes it gets flip-flopped as to who's actually in charge of open meeting law stuff. Sometimes it's Secretary of State and sometimes it's been the
Right.
Attorney General, and As of now, it's the Attorney General. So I don't know if we need to be specific or,
Attorney General.
yeah.
Could you say from the appropriate state?
Yeah, this is a term probably oversight of manager or,
But if it came,
From the appropriate state manager.
or if it's come from the Secretary of State, does it still get implemented by the State Attorney General? So it's just like later down the
yeah.
pathway, like would it still, not like,
I mean, I think 10 years ago it was Secretary of State did it all,
Right.
so.
so I guess in 5 years when this gets reviewed, maybe it goes back.
Yeah, all right, so I'll just leave it as it is, but that was just kind of my one little thought. Plus the addition here, to clarify that parliamentary procedures facilitate the running of the meeting. I think that's the only other change or recommendation. All in favor? Any, oh, I printed these out, I had the notes as to who recommended it, I do. No, I don't. I gotta switch. For some reason, when I printed these, it looks like it might have dropped some of the recommendations on who recommended the changes, or,
Oh, off the side?
yeah, I'm not sure why, but. Anyway, all right, so we're on C. Motion, I'll accept the motion to,
So moved.
is there a second?
Second.
Hold on a second. Yeah, I'm just catching up. Which one is this?
This is
So that
C,
was,
Amendment C.
so those were from council, those recommendations.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Just trying to keep,
Yeah.
okay.
Rick, are
Yes.
these on the town website?
These are not yet.
Okay, because I was just trying to find them.
Want to just go on to try to review? Scott?
I did, I couldn't
Other
find it.
documents?
I found it.
You want? Physical?
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Do you need, anybody else want one? Do you have an extra? I'll go make
I
one.
really
No,
have
no,
enough
no, it's
paper.
all right. Oh, okay, sure.
But thank you, Lisa.
We got a ways to go, it's only D.
Yeah.
That's why I asked now.
We still need to vote on
Still
the
need-
C.
yeah.
Yeah, all right, so
Move, seconded.
any further discussion on C?
No.
Yeah.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. All right, I'll try to be a little bit more specific, or at least do a summary for those, without a follow-on.
I think he's making copies, so we'll be all set.
D is regarding the deputy town moderator. This clarifies that the deputy town moderator can step in for the town moderator in instances where there is a recusal. Right now, recusal is not one of the reasons specified in the charter for why a deputy moderator can take over. And even though we've been doing it for years, it's just better to kind of include the language. Be safer.
It cleans up when I appointed to.
Yeah.
Much
That
better.
was the other one, yeah. The one recommendation was just instead of saying he or she shall serve, just change it to the moderator.
And it says the event of the absence, disability, shouldn't, where it has his, put the.
And serve in the event of absence, disability, or need for
I guess,
recusal. You get the cadence going, it works.
Whatever.
All right, I will entertain a motion to recommend Amendment D.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. E, conferring charter powers. This is essentially taking a gobbledygook of language who probably dates back 200 years and just simplifying it, because it's from the Department of Redundancy. So it's just a quick clarification. I don't even know what it really does, but I just know that they said it twice in one sentence, so we're just taking it down to one sentence. The only recommendation is that, just clarify Commonwealth of Massachusetts versus the Commonwealth.
Reasonable.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. All right, now we get to some discussion. This Amendment F is regarding town employees seeking elected office. And the way we had worded it was that we are not able to prohibit people from running for office, but we can say you can't work for the town if you are an elected official. And we've kind of gone back and forth on this, and it's complicated just in terms of who we would, how it should work and the best way of making it work. And frankly, my feeling is we are having so much trouble getting people to run for office at this point that I'm just not sure it's worth telling a class of people they can't run for office in town.
Yep, I also think this note of, since volunteers are considered employees,
Yeah,
how does that,
consider special employees, yeah.
yeah, I think, yeah.
So I think even if you were to unwind it and figure it out and sort it, I think it's still not, I think the pool of talent to pull from for committees at this point is so small that it's not going to be worth having it in there. And I talked with Rich and Rich felt the same way.
There was no comment from town council on this one, right?
The comment was that we can't prohibit people from running for
Right,
office.
this is the previous time.
Yeah.
And
Some towns have it and some towns don't.
The rules or the ethics around having to recuse yourself from conversations, in which this was kind of set up to do, already exist through the state ethics commission, so
Yep,
Right.
that should cover all that.
yep.
Okay.
So that was kind of Rich's take, is that if ethics already has the boundaries on what an elected official can and can't discuss,
Right.
that probably should just be good enough for now. I will take any other opposing viewpoint, if there is one.
I mean, I don't think we need something in the charter, but I think there is an understanding that, like, if you're constantly recusing yourself, then
Yeah.
how much are you helping, and what is it just starts to get muddy, so I think they're just, hopefully it just never comes to that, but I don't think we need to prohibit it in such a way, because that could even make it more confusing, so.
Yeah, yeah.
I still genuinely thought this was already a thing, so the fact it wasn't, I guess we could just keep going without it, so.
And I will say that the reason this came on our radar, frankly, it was one of the top 3 things people mentioned was this idea of town officials running and the town employees running for office. This was changing it from Board of Selectmen to Select Board was like the other one. So these 2 things were kind of like what I heard from people about the most, to be honest.
Right, because you could see it as, like you said, the state ethics,
Yeah,
which we have to take every year. If you're both a volunteer or paid, you're gonna know when you should, and there's ramifications otherwise, so it's already there, and so you already know what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
so I think I will entertain a motion either way, if anyone wants to make one.
So, could I just ask a
Yeah.
question? If there's no action, do we need a motion?
I would only recommend one, or I guess let me ask you this. At this point, is it a motion to pass over, or would it be a motion not to take it off, or?
We haven't actually printed the warrant yet,
Okay,
so that's why I'm here. Huh?
Yes, we have.
It hasn't been posted.
This part passes.
Yeah, so I'm here to listen to your input. If there's anything you want to take off of this A through Q list, my goal is to update the warrant
Okay.
and post that on, have that printed for town meeting.
So if we're voting on each one, move to recommendation, I would say with this, we could just say, it is not moved to recommendation, which removes it from this list, basically,
yeah.
right? If we're going through
It
each
can
one
be declared
individually.
Move not to recommend and remove from.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not going to bring it to town meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
All right, someone want to make that motion?
So moved.
Did you just say second?
No. I'm
Oh,
talking to
seconded.
myself.
Okay, that's fine, you're good.
All right, Is there a second?
Seconded.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, 4-0, and note in the minutes, if you want, that,
Pass over, right?
yeah, that Rich Smith probably would have voted
Yeah.
the same.
Thank you.
Amendment G, Town Manager Qualifications. This, again, just clarifies that there may be instances where the right town manager candidate has ample experience, but maybe not an official college degree, and that might be okay. And that's up for the Board of Selectmen to decide, and search committee. Is there any changes need to go over?
No.
Just a couple of select board, town manager. Okay. I'll take a motion to
So moved.
recommend.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's unanimous. Language modernization, as we mentioned, this would officially change the Board of Selectmen to the Select Board. And selectmen to select man, select woman, select person, depending on what's relevant at the moment of writing. I do note in here that there will be some costs to update printed materials and whatnot. So,
I'm sure it's minor.
any other discussion about this?
I mean, there's 5 municipalities, including us, that still call it a Board of Selectmen, so.
Does that feel few there are?
It's like less than 10 in Massachusetts, which is sad, but
You don't
yeah.
wanna hold out and be the last one.
Yeah, like,
The first shall be
it's a
last,
very
right?
small amount, which is what is
I didn't realize it's that
surprising.
low.
Yeah, it's significant, which, yeah, you just wouldn't even realize.
All right, I'll take a motion to recommend.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Police chief term of contract. Again, the point of this was to bring it in line with the fire chief's contract, which had a cap of 5 years. I don't see any, wait, there was a couple. Yeah, so there's one addition of a line at the end to specify that non-renewal does not constitute a removal for purposes of this section. That was a recommendation from town council. Just to differentiate, there's a difference between being removed from the office and just not having a contract renewed.
Right, because that first sentence says the town manager may either renew the contract with the then current chief of police or choose to appoint a new chief of police, provided however that a non-renewal should not constitute, yeah.
Okay. And this pretty much is in line with what is there for the fire contract, fire chief's contract.
It's a civil service position.
Oh, the fire chief is.
Yes.
That's right.
Although it is a contract, it is civil service. So.
Okay. So what this is bringing in line is then the length of the contract, rather than the search process. Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Excuse me,
Second.
motion to recommend.
Merton.
All right.
Seconded.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Annual budget process. This was again to reflect the realities of putting together a budget in this time frame, as well as encouraging a little bit more of a, I hate using, the goal was transparency, but that's not to insinuate that their current process is opaque, if that makes sense. But one of the parts of this is to establish a formal budget presentation, as well as then to kind of give the town manager a little bit more flexibility in how the whole process works. There was questions from the finance committee about having town meetings so early in April. That really makes it difficult because essentially we're approving a budget before the House even does their budget, before the Senate does their budget, before we have a state budget. And why do we do it so early? I mean, towns do it from March to June.
Right.
And the explanation was from you, from the moderator, was the goal was to pick a time frame post-winter sports, before spring sports, when people will still be involved and able to make it, and it's not too crazy with other things. And so, summing it up kind of,
Yeah, I was on the
Correct.
bylaw review committee when we
Yeah.
revised it. We were having trouble at the time getting quorums in May and June because the weather was nice and
Right.
parents were out on the fields with their kids. So we looked at all the different options, took surveys of other towns, and that first week of April seemed to be between the sports seasons. Didn't have a conflict with a holiday, so it just kind of fit in a niche that worked. That being said, the Board of Selectmen always have the authority to take a vote to move the date.
Yeah.
So if they want to, they can. There's been some instances, we haven't had to do it in a number of years, where we'll start town meeting and do as much as we can, and maybe not do the money articles, and then have a second session a month later and finish the town meeting. So the date is the date, and we've stuck to it the last 10 years or so, but there is a means of being flexible if the Board of Selectmen should decide.
yeah.
So what is it explicitly, like just the first Monday in April, and
First
just
Monday.
happened to be that April 1st this year?
Yeah, me
Okay.
too. And that's a bylaw.
That's
so
a
that'd be
bylaw.
change. And some people have asked about changing this, and related to that is changing the bylaw regarding the quorum. That if you do have it in May or June, you lower the quorum. I can tell you, I'm on a email distribution list with moderators, and a lot of towns have gone to the 0 quorum, which has actually increased attendance because of the cynicism of, I don't want a small group of people making decisions, so
Yeah.
more people show up. And more people show up because they know with the 0 quorum, it's gonna start immediately on time. We don't have to wait for the quorum to arrive. Everyone who's gone to 0, I don't know of any of them who have gone back. But that's another bylaw review that town meeting would have to approve at another date. Or if you go to a 50 quorum, whatever
Yeah.
the quorum is.
I'd be curious also, like, how many years down the road? Yeah, I can see why you guys did that. All right.
But just to check in, and Scott, this makes sense for you, the way this is worded, this makes sense, and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Just going through here, I just see some small grammatic and administrative
Yeah.
corrections.
What's the yellow highlighting?
That's an accident that I keep meaning to take out and keep getting to.
Okay.
Make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah. It's like the green M&Ms in the
He's trying to
Bible.
say he really wants that done. I gotta do it. It says shall.
That's right. I will take a motion to recommend.
So moved.
Seconded?
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. K, committee board appointments. Again, this sort of tries to clean up a little bit our appointment language, separates it in between elected offices, which include town clerk and town moderator, elected boards, which includes planning board, health board, and appointed committees and boards, which would be conservation, zoning, etc. We've gone through kind of what some of the changes are in previous ones. I don't see any,
The big thing is they can't opt to have, or opt to not have a public interview.
Yeah, so they can't have a private interview. That is, if there's going to be an interview, it's going to be in public session.
Yep, so I can see how that sentence could be confusing, so that's reasonable.
And then a note about vacancies in town offices. But other than that, the changes are administrative. Any other discussion on that one? All right, I'll take a motion to recommend.
So moved.
Seconded?
Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Library director appointment is actually going to be coming out. I should have taken it out and I didn't.
We
Right,
voted on that.
we
Yep.
voted to take that out, yep.
So that will be struck out. Going to M. This just makes a tweak to clarify that library director is in charge of day-to-day oversight of library staff. And Scott, we're good with that language? That doesn't put us into any binds or anything?
Seems like a good idea to me.
Okay. All right, take a motion to recommend.
So moved.
Seconded?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Charter enforcement, this is amendment N. Technically, we don't have any sort of enforcement clause in the charter. I don't really know how you enforce it to start with. I think the town council said there really isn't a great way of doing it, as I'm bringing it to court. But we do specify that at least the town manager should be on top of it when they can to make sure people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, to the extent that he can. He or she can. More work for you, so you're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, we endeavor to make sure everybody follows the charter.
Yeah.
Thus, we have a meeting on April Fool's Day.
Take a motion to recommend.
So moved.
Seconded?
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Computation of time. Town council has come back that the way it exists in the charter reflects the way that it is in the MGLs. So by making this change, we would kind of be mucking things up. So
We
as
spent a lot of
strange,
time on this one, too.
yeah, so as strange as it is, its recommendation might be to not move forward with this, strike it, and
So moved.
et cetera.
Time currently reflects MGL.
All right.
Oh, seconded. To
All
not-
right. Any other discussion?
Nope.
All right. Those in favor of not proceeding with this and taking it off the warrant?
Aye.
Say
Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Bylaw review committee terms. Again, this just specifies, let me include this. I'm just gonna ask the moderator to clarify his comment regarding this one. The idea, the right idea for this is that technically, if you read it right, the bylaw review would be meeting at the same time as a charter review, every other review cycle.
I see. And so so the original bylaw said you appoint a bylaw review committee after the charter has been updated, and then every 5 years after that, intervals of 5 years. Your updated language says appoint a bylaw review committee when the charter is updated, and then 5 years from that. And my question was, do you want to say intervals of 5 years that can keep it going?
Yeah.
Your point is, well, yeah, but there's another section of the charter review committee is going to be every 10 years, so it kind of keeps regurgitating itself.
Yeah, so
What happens if there's no charter committee for it? If you leave
I
that
can see
interval
that.
language in there, it means that every 5 years, the selectman, town manager should appoint a bylaw review committee. They can do it before then too, if they want to. So this really kind of gives them the direction to do so. That's all. I think we're both trying to say the same thing, that every
Yeah.
5 years, there should be a bylaw review committee put together to take a review. I just took the same phrase from the existing language and put it in the new language.
Any other thoughts or comments?
I think that makes sense. Because if we're basing the intervals on another committee, and if they don't meet, yeah,
Yeah, I like the language.
yeah.
All right. Entertain a motion to recommend.
So moved.
Seconded?
Or any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Board member onboarding, again, this just says that committee should have some sort of onboarding package for new members so they can understand rules, responsibilities, et cetera. I think there are any notes regarding it. So any other thoughts?
I think it's a great idea, particularly if trying to get more people involved, knowing that there's support when you join versus just getting thrown into the fire
Yep.
is helpful.
I'll entertain a motion to recommend.
So moved.
Seconded?
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Unanimous. All right, last one. Late edition, and again, this is something we probably should have included earlier, and there was an oversight for not doing it. The town and police union have agreed to move forward with hiring, and basically drop civil service. I don't know if that's a phrasing of it, but
Yeah, well, what we did is going forward, new hires will not be members of civil service. Anybody who's existing within the department that was hired through civil service is grandfathered as long as they are police officers and will be under the protection of civil service. But any new hires, and this was negotiated as part of that last large contract that we did, the new hires will be hired outside of civil service.
yeah. So, we're putting together some text that basically, right now it says that, appointment of all sergeants and patrol officers shall be in accordance with the provisions of chapter 31 of the MGL, which is the civil service law. The change would be, all sergeants and patrol officers shall be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and hiring policies of the Abington Police Department.
Okay.
Where is it? What section is this?
This would be R.
Right.
So it's
Within, it's section
513
Oh, okay, all right.
of the charter,
So,
organization of the police department. This does not change the fire departments. They remain under civil service. Police would no longer. So, starting to do some checking on this. My understanding is that it's been approved, but are the policies in place yet?
We have draft policies that Clifford and Kenny have worked with, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not in place and won't be in place until we're ready to make the transition. And that won't happen for over a year now.
So the suggestion, actually from Rich, is that the language be tweaked a bit to say that, this is fine, but until those go into effect, this remains the rule. Basically put a sunset clause in there. So that, 513 remains as is, and then it goes away as soon as the policies become,
Well, the policies will go in effect when
is that the way?
the vote is done.
Okay,
Because then,
okay,
and they're not, we're not recreating the wheel. This is, our labor council has done this and worked on these policies with other towns. So
yeah,
it's not a new thing. They do have, hiring guidelines. There's still things in there for local or veteran preferences and things like that. So it's not that we're just doing whatever we want here.
Mhm.
Oddly enough, right now, I think, in the legislature, civil service, which is spiraling down the drain fast, is trying to come up with some sort of a hybrid model that would allow 50% of your force to be non-civil service and your new hires. And, we're not interested in that. We've negotiated this. It's again, it's something that won't take effect until this is ratified at a year from this election.
So is that what's in the CBA, is that will take effect when the new charter is approved?
No, they had just agreed to it, and then it was up to us to go and figure out how we were gonna do it, whether it was charter change, or if we had to go to the legislature, or if it's a
Okay.
vote. So the fact is that they agreed to it as part of the collective bargaining agreement that is probably going to be up and over by the time we actually get through this.
So, I just want to make sure we're not creating a situation where there's a gap in coverage, basically.
So we don't want a sunset clause because they need this to trigger that. They need the charter to trigger the contract, more
There
or
would be
less.
no gap. I mean,
Yeah.
the minute that this is done, it's done.
Okay,
You know, we're all ready to go.
all right. When we have the language, we're gonna just toss it over to the police union just to make sure that they're agree that this is the way it's working.
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean that they're writing it, it just means
Right.
that trust but verify,
Yeah, right.
no offense. I just don't wanna open a can of worms with that, so.
Yeah.
We'll just double check to make sure that, that's their understanding as well. And if so, then we'll just swap it in and out and go from there. Which brings me to my suggestion, that we have reserved a room for the night of town meeting.
Okay.
So we can meet again if needed before town meeting,
So we'll likely have to then to take the,
likely, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it. Am I forgetting anything?
as far as these go?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. But so should Sean put this on his list for town meeting? The R?
Yes, so I will send him the language.
Once we,
So basically, I can tell you what the language is, and if you're okay with that, we can take a formal vote on that amendment before town meeting,
right,
if that's okay.
I get you.
But just so that it's printed in part of the warrant. Again, it would be,
Right, instead of the. MG.
provided that the appointment of all sergeants and patrol officers shall be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and hiring policy of the Abington Police Department.
Okay.
And that is in place of provisions of Chapter 31 of the MGLs.
Okay.
So Sean, I'll send you that language this evening.
That'd be great, and with your permission, I'll delete the sections that you didn't want to bring forward. We'll add the police section, and I'll incorporate all the redlining that you approved.
So I do want to reorder this. I did start to reorder this, and then I either didn't realize or forgot that Attorney Goldberg had the old version. So, and then when I went to start to reorganize it, I wasn't carrying over the comments. So I do want to reorganize some of these, just the way they're sorted now is kind of as we went through the charter.
Yes.
But as we're taking them up, it makes better sense to clump some of them together. So I'm just going to reorganize this, like for instance, all the board committee stuff is together, all the town manager stuff's together.
Instead of bouncing around.
Yeah.
Right.
So I already have it laid out. I just need to physically do the cut and paste, and then I can get it to you this evening.
Yeah, oh, are you gonna
Yeah, I
incorporate
can
the
do
red
that.
stuff? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great, because I'm working on the warrant. Yeah, send it on over, I'll put another set of eyes on it. Scott looked at the warrant today, I'm looking at his stuff tonight, and we hope to get everything up on the website
There is a version on the website now.
Yeah, there was the postcards were mailed out to people
Yeah.
14 days in advance, which was required for the special town meeting, which is kind of what we always did. And so the postcards went out a little bit ahead of schedule. It said, hey, you can go to the website, look at the warrant.
There's nothing
Well, it
there.
wasn't there yet. So the warrant will be up as required, so people can read it and review it before town meeting. And we'll post this charter handout. So the thought is, at town meeting, we're gonna have the warrant, the charter handout, the budget handout. I think that's it.
Now,
Yeah, I think we'll attach
do you want to do it all as one big packet? They can send it off to a printer that way.
We'll work that. We'll see whatever works, but there's two articles that we're gonna have a map. One is the purchase, it has to deal with a piece of property on Linwood Street, so we're gonna have a map which indicates where it is. And then for the MBTA zoning, we have a map to indicate where that is. It'll be up on the screen too.
So we do have a final report that we're finishing. Is there a way we can distribute that? Can we do it through an email blast if you're doing a bunch of emails or anything, or?
Reach out to Samantha when you have your final edits done.
Yeah.
In that final report, Samantha will get it on the website and yeah, definitely do a whatever email blast or, she'll get it out on Facebook, Instagram, website, everywhere that we can.
Okay.
I don't know what you have on the agenda, but if you have time, I'd love to talk to you about how you want to present this, where you guys gonna sit, all that.
Yep, that's next. So just also to clarify, the way we're going to proceed, there's two ways we can proceed. We can proceed either with a vote at town meeting and then have the legislature ratify it, essentially, or we can have voters ratify it at the 2025 town election.
Probably the same timeline, right?
I feel it'd be
No,
faster. to do it
legislature will
through-
be
It
slower.
will
Oh, really?
never make it out of the legislature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially if there's any
Yeah.
word search for civil service.
The Senate alone put 7,000 bills in the beginning of session.
Yep, that was a wrong
Yeah.
comment just then.
And last time it took 4
Optimistic.
years to get it approved.
Okay, yep,
So it's
Good
just,
question.
so because we're going that route, it will require a 2/3 approval from town meeting to put it on the ballot
okay.
in 2025. We can't do it this year, obviously the ballot's too late.
Right.
I don't think we can do it in November because it's a federal election.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we had to wait till the town
Yeah,
election.
so unfortunately, we have to
Okay.
wait a full year. Floor is yours, Mr. Moderator.
So the charter article is, I don't know where it is, it's in there. It's about 2/3 of the way through. And I'm assuming I was gonna recognize Rick to have an overview, thank the committee for all the work you've been doing. And a quick summary. We're obviously not gonna be able to put everything up on the screen, so the handout's gonna be what everyone's gonna look to. I'm assuming there's gonna be a couple of general questions, and I don't know if you want to, let's see, there's a chance that we could take, just based on the discussion, we'll take a vote and approve everything that you've suggested as one vote. But if there's someone who wants to pull something out, kind of do it like the budget.
Yeah.
I want to take, Article F and set that aside, and we'll approve all the other ones. And then take an extended discussion on the remaining charter amendment, and take a separate vote on that. Just kind of have to see what the will of the people is and what moves best. But I'm assuming part of your introduction would be to kind of walk them through each of those, a sentence or two about each one of them, and see if people ask for more information, you can go back to it.
Yeah, I guess that was the question is, I don't remember how they did it 10 years ago. It was Mr. Buckley doing it, right?
I think Andy Burbine
Andy.
as well.
Andy Burbine? Okay. Oh, Mr. Buckley was bylaw review. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to do a half,
If you want.
I don't want to spend a half an hour running through everything, but I do think we need to at least walk them through how we got to there and all the consideration and do quick summaries of each one.
To your point, whatever can be emailed out, the more information we get out before a meeting, the better. And I know thank you to Adam and Cam for putting your meetings on TV, so people kind of have a working knowledge of it. Hopefully that will help, but I'm sure there'll be questions on the floor, nothing that you can't answer.
All right. All right, any other thoughts or things you need to do?
No, so it looks like we need to, or you'll be working on the final report. If you need help to get that information out, really, and get ready for the meeting.
Yeah.
Let's do
All
it.
right. All right, we will have our next meeting on April 1st. Town meeting starts at 7.
If we have a quorum there, hopefully, everyone get there at least 15 to
I
20
think
minutes
we'll-
early and check in.
All right, so we'll try to meet about 6. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to, like I
know
said,
You got a
I
couple other things.
I
got a couple
technically
other
have 3
things.
meetings that night at
Yeah.
6, so I might be jumping around depending on what votes need to be taken that night, but
All right, why don't we do
I'll try
6:30
as I
then,
can.
that way in case, because I'll probably have one at 6 as well.
Okay,
So we'll do it at
Perfect.
6:30.
6:30?
okay.
Do we want to approve minutes from past meetings or wait and just do, we have 2 from February that we haven't approved yet.
Oh, probably should do that. I don't have them set them out, but so we'll just do it at there,
Do it at the April
April
meeting.
1st.
All right.
Get ready for spring.
All right.
There you go.
All right, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.